Parties, ladies and gentlemen, a divorce case was going on in KwaZulu-Natal, and the registrar was trying to put the oath to the witness. And every time she put the oath to the witness and said, "Say, so help me God," the witness kept saying, "I do." So she tried several times and it didn't work. So she looked helplessly up at the judge, and the judge turned to the witness and said, "Listen, man, when you get married, you say, 'I do.' When you get divorced, you say, 'So help me God.'" So, unlike the marriage vows that might end in divorce, I would like to remind the political parties here today, this is not a pledge that can possibly end in divorce. We are here together, and we are stuck together, and this is a serious pledge, which reads as follows. We, the undersigned leaders of political parties, recognize that South Africa is a democratic, constitutional state founded on the principles of, amongst others, regular elections and multipartyism. We accept that an election requires an environment wherein there is free political activity, where all political parties are able to canvass support without fear or hindrance. We recognize that democracy development in our country partly depends on the ability of voters to hear different political opinions as espoused by various political parties, and thus enable citizens to exercise the franchise on an informed basis. We further note that free and fair elections is the only legitimate basis on which the authority to govern is derived. We acknowledge that the Electoral Commission is constitutionally mandated to ensure free and fair elections of legislative bodies. We acknowledge that political parties and candidates participating in the 2019 national and provincial elections are obliged to observe all provisions of the Electoral Code of Conduct, which is binding on all those participating parties, their candidates, and members and supporters. The statement of commitment that you pledge to is that political parties gathered on the 20th day of March 2019 in Midrand, Gauteng, commit themselves to uphold the underlying values and conduct required by the Code, and to which they hereby pledge to adhere. You will further pledge to underscore this commitment as leaders of the undersigned political parties, to lead your political parties in a manner that will reinforce a culture of tolerance towards all other parties contesting elections, to effectively counsel and advise all candidates on their party lists so that each candidate will in turn propagate a message of maximum tolerance, to publicly promote the eradication of no-go areas for campaigns by political parties, to desist from using speech or from participating in actions which will have the effect of provoking either political parties, supporters, or members of the general public to commit acts of intolerance or take other inflammatory actions. That participating parties will work together to achieve the object and goals of the Electoral Code of Conduct. Thus, the pledge is signed in Midrand on 20 March 2019. This is what you political leaders will be pledging today on behalf of your parties and your candidates.